Well, hello, hello. This is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. I am going to try to find my video, as I often do when I'm doing a live video, so that I can see what my screen looks like. And I'm hoping to be able to bring to you some content today. If you could bear with me. Let's see if this is working. It shows that I'm live. Okay. I'm trying to find my video on YouTube. And I don't see it, so this is interesting. How do I find my own video? Here we go. Okay, I found it. Wonderful. All right. Oh, hello, Anna. Hi, darling. I had you on my mind this morning. I'm like, I know I promised Anna I was going to send her a little something. And bear with me, darling. I'm trying to skip my ads. Okay, so, all right. I'm seeing here already that this isn't at the best angle possible, so I'm going to try to position this a little bit better. Hopefully that's, oh my gosh, hi Lisa. Hello, darling. I'm going to try to film this live. I've been tinkering around with my camera settings, and I think this is better. I wanted to come along and answer some crafty questions. I've been MIA, but it's not because I haven't been crafting. I actually was doing something, a really special project. Thank you, darling. I was trying to, I'm reading the screen off to the side here, so I kind of have to move this closer. Oh, yeah. The setups that I have to come up with to do these videos is just like MacGyver all over the place. So that's why I sound like I don't know what the heck I'm saying when I begin my videos, so I do apologize for that. There is a method to my madness, however. But thank you so much for being here. I'm here today for a couple of reasons. Number one, hello. I know that I've kind of been MIA, but with reason. I was working on a very special project, and it took a lot of my concentration. And I have to pace myself because of my chronic pain situation. So sometimes it takes so much out of me that I then go days without being able to really do videos and all that jazz. However, God bless you, and I hope you guys all had a wonderful Easter. If you celebrate, if you don't, find reason to. It's a wonderful thing. So let me show you just visuals here for a couple little things I've been making that I haven't shown in other videos. Yeah, because I definitely haven't. Wow, and it feels like I made these 500 years ago. But here's a little card I recently made, and I had been showing the stamp set from my favorite things called something about tea. Spill the Tea, I believe was the name of it. And I did a live coloring video. So if you haven't watched that video and you are interested, I should say, in learning how to color, for anyone who may watch this video, then that might be a good little video to watch just to get some ideas, some tips that I'd like to share. Oh, hello, Beverly. Hi, darling. So this was a different one here. I just had a little fun with adding glitter to the little girl's hair because as I've shared in other videos, I don't like to take this sort of crafting thing too seriously. So I like to every now and then just make a little something to use what I have in my drawers. In this case, I had opened the drawer and I found some Martha Stewart glitter, I think it was, that I don't think I had ever even used, and it had been sitting there for ages. So I added it to her hair because I thought, you know, some days you just feel like having purple hair. Why not? So I had not shown out of the stamp set the little teacups, I don't believe, or the little bunny. I can't recall now what the other card looked like. But I just wanted to come back and show the other little images. And in this case, I omitted the other little girl because what I did was I added the little baby doll, the teddy bear, and the bunny. So no need to be redundant, but that's what the card looks like. The next little card I was playing with was this one here. And what I did was I used a stamp set that I recently hauled at Hobby Lobby. And it is by Tracy Hay. Had never heard of this artist, but I really like the little sentiments that came with this. I love the kind of just like the innocent look of the little flamingos. And it came with a little rainbow, stars, hearts, just super cute. And this is from Hero Arts. I don't know. Hello, Bonnie. How are you, darling? Yeah, this is a really cute set, and I was thinking that this would be great for anniversaries, for birthdays, just a lot of just encouragement cards, that sort of thing. So I went ahead and picked that up, and I'm not gonna lie, the what do you call those things? I don't know how to say it. The place where they put the stamps in the store, the aisle or whatever, was empty. And I had like 2 or 3 different choices, and I figured that I would just get that one. But I'm so happy that I did, because I love watercolors, and I love using inks as if they were watercolors. So I recently had shared in a video that I really like the inks from Catherine Pooler. So let me show you the ones that I may or may have not used in this on this card. And I do apologize if I don't recall, because I don't retain too much information. I just have fun with it. But in any case, this is what I may have, I'm pretty sure I did. It's called It's a Girl, Party Dress, and Bellini. I'm pretty sure those are the 3 colors that I used on this little flamingo. The Bellini is more of an orange color, and I use it on the little help me out, ladies. Beak. Yes. So Beverly, absolutely. If you oh, and hello, Tanya. Welcome. If you are in the market for inks, let me just go ahead and show you how they come, okay? Because they come in these little collections like this. Now, I did away with the packaging and whatnot, and I kind of regret it, but this is part of the packaging. So say you get a collection, and no, they don't come like all pinks, all yellows. They don't come like that. This is just the way that I put them in my drawer. But you'll get a little collection, say like, you know, this whole thing full like that, for like, I think it's 30 some odd dollars. I can't recall now. Which, depending on how much you like coloring, that may seem a bit steep. However, here's my plug and the way that I look at things, okay? You can get, let's just say you can get something like this, right? The little Copic markers that everyone, you know, raves about. And you can spend, and you ladies already know this, $40, depending on where you shop, on 4 or 5 of these little markers. You need to refill them, of course, depending on how you use them and all that. And you get a certain range of colors, and if you know about color theory and all that, yes, you can definitely extend what you have when it comes to this. However, when you buy inks like these, you get the range of colors that comes in the collection. So let me just show you a couple other ones. Hello, Mari. Welcome. I love your little emoji, or whatever you call your avatar. I was just watching that movie the other day. Let's see here. Okay. So you get, let's just say, a combination of colors, and again, they don't necessarily come in this, you know. Okay, my English today is, I was speaking Spanish a little while ago, so I need to get my English back in my brain. But you know what I mean. The collections are mixed, all right? So the good thing is that if you know enough about color theory, or even if you don't, you can get a little swatch, and then you can take these same inks, and then here's what I do. I take a little glass block, and I just smush them on my block, and then I take a little water pen like this. I color it, I wet it, and I use them as watercolors. And what is the result? The result can be as detailed as I like, or as soft as I like. And case in point, here's one, okay? So it's really neat to be able to get a result like that. So Bonnie says Ohuhu. Okay, so Ohuhu markers are also alcohol-based markers, right? Now, mind you, I don't, how would I say it? I don't suggest to anyone to get Copic markers. I only say use them if you are really, you know, going to have a range of uses for them, I guess is what I would say. I wouldn't suggest that a card maker, a person that only makes cards, invests in Copics. And that's not to discourage anyone, okay? It's just that it is not a need. I got those markers after over 20 years, seriously, way over 20 years of coloring. And no, I don't just color on cards. I do my own thing on this, you know, on the side. I've done watercoloring, you know, things like that. And no, I don't share that on YouTube. I don't think I ever will. It's just my own personal thing, and it's I leave this crafty channel to only crafts. I guess is all I can say about that. But in terms of investing in coloring, because you can get one of these types of brushes, which is the water brush, you fill it in yourself. Because these are so inexpensive, and I've seen them recently. I was, for instance, at Hobby Lobby, and I think they had 3 in a pack for a certain amount of money or whatever, but they last forever and a day. Then you can invest on one brush and then a series of inks and have yourself a really wonderful palette to color in any kind of stampy images, and know that you can get really nice vibrant colors. If you're wondering, for instance, if this was a pattern paper, it is not. This was all stamped with Catherine Puller inks using the same stamp set. So you get a variety depending on how you're using them. And then of course, you can layer them as well with any other color that you have in your stash, whether it be a marker or a pencil, etc., and get a really cute result. You can also use them in a really soft manner application, I should say. So here, what I did was that I cut these little clouds. I cut them out of white paper. I inked them up with a nice soft brush. And then the paper from which I cut these out, in other words, the background, is what I use as my stencil, just to apply a little bit of pink and blue ink to create my little clouds on the rest of that. Yes, the idea, okay, so I'm reading the comments here. Okay, so we have a couple of people recommending the Ohuhu markers. So yeah, that's awesome. I don't have experience with those. I do have experience coloring with the Nuvo alcohol markers, and they look like this. Actually, they've been changed now. The barrel is different from Tonic Studios. These are alcohol markers as well, and they come with 2 different tips, the little bullet tip and the chisel tip. The only downfall is that they're not refillable. So I would say, yes, they're wonderful if you're a beginner or even advanced, but if you don't care about the fact that you're not going to be able to refill the barrel, then hey, that's okay too, you know? The appeal to me with the Copics is the fact that you get the blending of the pigment is by far, I mean, I think the best out there. So, but then again, I don't have a lot of different markers to compare them to. I only have things like, let me see here. Other markers I've gotten in the past were like things like this Firefly alcohol markers. This was a purchase at probably Tuesday morning or something like that. They are horrific. I'm not gonna lie. If I saw them in a different store, and I don't know if this is just because Tuesday morning was selling old stuff, but these look like they have a disease that I can't identify. So no, I wouldn't recommend that. I don't even know why they're still there, to be honest. But when your stuff starts having bumps on it, just stay away from it. Don't even touch it. And no, I've never seen that happen with a Copic marker. So I don't know if that was bacteria that was introduced to the manufacturing or God knows what. Maybe I should look at it under a microscope and see if I can identify what it is. But anyway, Y'all know you're gonna get the truth on this channel. On a side note, I created another little typewriter here. I'm trying to get the little strings off of it before I show it to you. So if you haven't seen that tutorial, I wanted to, if you pick up this die set, and hello Susie from Illinois. I love that you introduce yourself like that. I'd be hello from all over the place. But yes, thumbs up the video if you do enjoy this content. I would absolutely love it if you could support me in that manner. And of course, if you're going to shop, if you click on any single one of my links right now before you continue the video, just click on it, even if you don't go shopping or leave the channel or anything. If you just click on one of my links, I would truly appreciate it. So this, of course, is the latest and greatest, at least for me, from Tonic Studios, the typewriter set. And I showed the other one that I made in a video where I did the tutorial. But of course, you know, we get these items and we can keep using them over and over and over again, whichever way we like. And in fact, let me bring over the other one. I had it on the side here. I was thinking of putting a picture of my honey and I on it, from sunny Puerto Rico. So I wanted to show, for instance, like if you have one of these, I have one of those little printers, I forget what they're called, but you know, you can like connect through your phone or whatever, and they print out these tiny little, okay, so zinc, that's what it's called, HP zinc. So those pictures, if you happen to have one, they fit perfectly on, you know, whichever size paper you choose to put on there, which I think is really cool. So Anna, you want that typewriter? Well, darling, the secret's out of the bag. This one's coming your way. The shabby chic one. I'm horrible at keeping secrets when it comes to crafty things because I know I get excited, but it's always different when you get it in hand than when you have it, you know, a visual of it in pictures or whatever. So yeah, Anna, this one's for you, sweetheart. Hi, Carrie. So I was making it thinking, okay, let me do the shabby chic version. I still use the same flowers that came in the set, just so you know. Now look at how elegant you can make this. Here I use the little gemmies that you get at Hobby Lobby that have the little golden specks in them. And then the little tiny pearls that I had in my stash. I did heat emboss this, which I did not show in the video, but just to let you know, the stamp comes as all one piece. So you don't have to individually do letters because ain't nobody got time for that. But you stamp the whole thing, you heat emboss it, and boom, it looks like you spent, you know, time doing that. But the one thing that I'm going to suggest is in the video, I accidentally cut 2 times or twice this piece here. And you'll see it in the video where I have a little arrow saying, you know, like you don't need to cover this paper because I accidentally did it twice. And I'll show you what I mean, right? Well, actually, this has tape on it, but it's not too sticky. So this is what I did. I stuck it down there. However, as it turns out, I kept looking at it going, wow, this is kind of interesting. This wasn't supposed to be the piece that went on here. It's supposed to be a rectangle that comes in the die set. And when you, let me explain this. When you go to adhere it, there is already a tab down here. There's already a little tab on there available from this piece that allows you to adhere that back, that little rectangle in the back. So I hope that makes sense. But of course, I always say, if I confuse you further, ignore me. If you have questions, reach out and I'll be happy to send you pictures or do a step-by-step, anything like that, which is another reason why I'm here today. I occasionally get questions and I cannot answer them necessarily at the time that I get the questions, but I try to bear that in mind, and then I come back and I make a video that is specifically to answer the questions you may have. So let me set this aside for a moment And I'm trying to find here. Okay. All right. So in the past, I shared this mini album here. Oh, Anna, you're so welcome, darling. Yeah, the pieces for here, just to let you know, before I switch gears, the pieces for here, what I recommend is, and this is what I typically do, if I get a die set, I take all of the base pieces and I line them up on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, because this is usually the size of the heaviest cardstock that I use. So I take all of the base pieces and I line them up, right? And then I say, okay, I'm going to need, for instance, 3 sheets of the heavy cardstock. I get that all cut and out of the way. And then I do the same thing for the layering pieces. I lay them on whatever, you know, cutesy paper I'm going to use. I do the same thing. I put them on my piece of paper to determine how many of those I'm going to use. Do I want to switch it up, use different colors and whatever? And then I try to cut them all at the same time as well. That alleviates some of the frustration that comes with crafting, is to look at it as, you know, first get all of your materials, then start the gluing process and all that. And I am extremely impatient. So sometimes I don't follow my own rules, but I do find that I enjoy it a lot more if I do all the cutting at once, get it over with, and then start playing. Now, as far as the keyboard here, if you notice the difference, I wanted to play around with the Crackle mousse that I had recently received, and some winnings from Tonic Studios. Oh, Audrey, I can't wait to see it. Yes. And thank you for being here. I love that Audrey loves Tonic Studios like I do. So I appreciate, you know, when you share what you make. And sweetheart, just to let you know, I watch your videos and I love them. I don't always comment on videos because I'm typically watching them on my couch as a form of therapy when my back is out of control and I can't even think straight. But I love it. So yeah, cutting everything first is, I think, the way to go. So what I did here, just to get back to this, the mousse, right? So this is kind of like pate. I don't know. I don't know what else to compare it to, which is kind of ick, but you know what I mean? Like, it's pasty. Toothpaste. Let's just compare it to that. And then you smear this on whatever surface you want. I make a huge mess. That's when I have the most fun. When I get really messy. And then I used it, and Anna, when you receive this, you'll be able to look up close. I did deboss the letters into that, but they're barely visible in the video because of the color of this, but it's nice and shiny. And then I used it on the edges here, but I didn't get the crackle effect, only because I didn't put it on there thick enough. If I had laid it on real thick and goopy, it would have had that whole crackle look. But to compensate for that, I use the glass glitter from Rene Bouquets. And I just kind of toss that all over the place to make it super shabby. So if you're wondering, the little charms here I have shared in a different video that was from BB Craft. The little pearls, this one, these are mermaid pearls from Rene Bouquets. The little gems in the centers of everything are from BB Craft. And these are little diamond dots. You can get those at Joann's. This little bird here was from a mold that I purchased from my sweetheart friend Carolyn, who's Tea Time and Dolls. She sells molds for this sort of thing on Instagram, so you want to look her up. And that's about it for that. Oh, and the paper, this paper collection is from Kathy Orta, or she goes by Kathy King now, I'm sorry. And she is Paper Phenomenon. And she's on Ning. So Kathy, I love her to pieces. I met her many, many years ago. So she's got some new spring collections. You want to take a peek at those if you would like shabby chic. And you can print them out at home. So if you'd like a peek of that, I can definitely show you, okay? All right, so before I go too crazy, let me set this aside. All right, so I'm here today because someone asked me about this right here, this little mini album. And I figured what better way to show or give the answer than to go ahead and cut one out and go through the process, right? The woman who reached out to me, and I'm so sorry I cannot remember her name, she wanted to know how this whole thing works, this here. And I can understand some of us are visual to a fault, you know what I mean? So we need to see, how did you do it? Show me step by step. So this is what I'm going to make. And I'm going to start from ground zero so that she's able to watch this video. If you're curious as to the inside of this, I was just having a purple day and I got out my purple stuff. These are Anna Griffin fans, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure. And I love to meditate on the Word of God and journal and write things down and stuff like that. And that's what this little book was all about. Different psalms that I like, meditations and verses and things like that. And I guess I had unfinished pages there as well. I move on from book to book to book, so it doesn't matter to me. And then I did go out and take a picture of a swan. I was out with my husband and I had taken that picture and I just added it there. So, oh, you're very welcome. So let me put this back. And as you can tell, this is back, forth like that. It's a gatefold style album. And then you can make half pages like this. Really fun. Just a different style, just a little something different to add to the mix, right? So her question was about the whole, how do you close this? How do you do that? So I went ahead and ran this through my machine, my Anna Griffin machine to cut out. So I'm just going to start cutting, explaining, crafting. Y'all grab a cup of whatever it is you like to drink this time of day and join me. I welcome you. And if you've never been to this channel, which I think most of you have, I love sharing the process of things because this is how I have learned to craft, is by other people showing me step by step what they've done. I do not consider myself a know-it-all in any way. I'm a student of everything in life, including crafting, and I think it's a wonderful community because we can learn from one another and ask questions and all that good stuff. So yes, thank you for the question, Susie. This die set is older, in fact. This was from, it was called Our Story Half Cut, My Memory Book Die Set. And then they released a complimentary set, which was the Spring Garden. And the only thing about this layer was that it had the whole honeycomb look to it and some extra little pieces. But you really didn't need that to play along with this set here. In fact, I've made some other books. I wish I could show them to you, but as I mentioned, I often either give them away or sell them, so I don't have too many to show. But the one that I'm working with came with these base pieces that you see here. And as you could tell, they cut on 3 sides, but you just saw me cut away one end. And that's because that one edge doesn't cut at all. And then when you cut this, you send this through the machine. This also debosses a little shape here. It's almost like a little U, and I don't know if that's visible on video, but it's marked by this piece here. And then you do have the option of using either one. This one has a little stippled edge. This one has a dash. That's the only difference between the two. And I'm going to cut it again with, let's see here. I'm going to cut the base piece. Now these were meant, just to let you know, these were meant to coordinate with the very initial memory book die set that Tonic Studios released. And all of the shapes were like this. So you do need to have that separate set in order to be able to create an entire album. In my case, I already had it, but because I got this complimentary one, the one with the whole beehive and butterfly look, then it came with one that you can also use as the base. And I hope that makes sense, because this is going to go here. So I will show you what I mean in a moment. I'm just going to cut that one piece. But I hope you guys have all been doing well. It's amazing how time, I think there's always like this time warp when it comes to social media, that if you're gone for 5 minutes, it feels like 5 years. Because there's so much content out there. It just keeps going, going, going. Oh, you had to put, oh boy. Well, it's a good thing I'm not showing my face. Because I am not showing the face today. No makeup Saturday. I'm here on my lonesome. And it's a good day to, you know, just catch up on a few things and get a little crafting done. Okay, so again, that's just the base piece. So that I don't cause confusion, let me just show you something really quick. Because I just mentioned this set, okay? This was the very first memory book set that Tonic Studios released. What, going on maybe 3 years now? So these dies that I'm using today were meant to complement this set, okay? And all they did was that they designed this die set that was cut in half, that then you could open the book, instead of opening one big page like that, you could open it from the middle. That's it. Okay? But a lot of people, when they got this set, it comes only like this, and so they were confused because they were like, wait a minute, how do I make a mini album with just this? And it turns out that you do need at least the other one with this background so that you can make a book, okay? So I'm going through the trouble of explaining all of that so that you understand that if you don't own that big, huge one, if you at least have this one here, I'm going to show it one more time. If you at least have this one, then you're going to, I'm sorry, no. Sorry, guys. If you at least have this one, okay, then you're going to be able to make the base. And I wish they would write that on there, like base or something like that, but I don't know. They give them these funny names and then can kind of be crazy if you don't know what they are. All right, so I'm just going to get some of these out of the way for 1 second. And the paper as well. So you just saw me cut this one out. And I have this piece and I have this piece. Okay, so these meet in the middle. And you can see that this one's larger. Okay. Hopefully you can see it from that side. All right, so those two pieces there are larger. So my recommendation is if you're going to use it like this, that you have to anticipate the fact that the back is going to be smaller than the front pieces. So if you're okay with that, you can proceed. If you don't like that, then you may, you know, you may not want to use it for a book. I don't know. That depends on personal taste. But in this case, all you have to do is follow the indentation mark here to create your fold line. So I'll just get my Martha Stewart. What is this called again? I forget. I don't even remember what this is called. The folding thing. Oh, I can't recall what this is called. So anyway, what I do is I follow that little curve line, and am I in frame? Yes, I am. I follow the curve line until it no longer curves. The minute it starts going vertical, that's where I want to place my fold. And that is because this is heavy paper. I don't want it to crack, and I don't want it to have an indentation either. So I don't want my fold line too far away, and I don't want it too close either. And I'll show you in a moment what that looks like, because you do have choices. You do whatever the heck you want. It's your book and your materials. I only give advice as to, you know, samples as to how I use them. So I go ahead and create that indentation and use my little bone folder there. Now you can tell that this isn't exactly straight because of the way that I cut it away. Don't bug out too much about that because there's always a solution to it. Okay. And I'm just going to make a card today because it's still going to be the same principle, guys. And ladies, I don't know about you, but oh my gosh, this I live in upstate New York and the temperature fluctuations have me going crazy. Oh, okay, no, that wasn't straight. Sorry. Because 1 minute it's hot and the next minute it's freezing cold. Scoreboard, thank you, Bev. Scoreboard. There's too many names to remember. Okay, so I've got that scored, as you can tell. Nice and neat. And thank God I'm not on camera because I'm about to take off my sweatshirt. And I'm still fully clothed, just in case. Don't get any ideas. So here's what I do. I take my adhesive, my tape, and I bring it close to that fold line. I'm using the thinner one because this is what I have on hand, but if I had my 1/4 inch tape, then that's what I would use. And then according to that width, I can cut away what I don't need. Yeah, it's driving me batty. I'm like, make up your mind. Do you want to be tropics today or do you want to be, you know, Alaska? What the heck? I can't handle it. All right, so I'm just going to cut away what I don't need here. Okay. I'm going to do the same with the other page because that's what's going to meet in the middle. Now, I'm not going to make an entire book today, but I can at least show you one option, right, of how to use this. So I place my tape there, and according to that, I'm going to cut away. And yes, you can try to fiddle with this whole thing, but because this is a curve, I don't want to, you know, complicate things too much. I'm just eyeballing to see how, you know, which is the straightest way that I can do this here. Okay. I've got my pieces there. Let me go back to my base. I like to put the pretty side out because I can cover this. And then I'm just going to line up my pieces here. And now what I know to be absolutely straight is this line here because that's what the machine scored for me and everything, right? So that's what I'm going to place here and just butt it up to that edge. And it's not exactly overlapping, but just meeting up at the edge here. And you can also use the line on the background if you have one of these grids. So I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. I think you can. Yes, Leslie, thank you. Thank you so much. Today's been a good day, so I'm grateful for that. I'm in a good mood. Had a nice long conversation with my mama, and that always makes me happy. So, all right, so this is kind of about where I need it. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you were making a book, you could do it the same way, and instead of using this piece, you could just use another one of these and add a little edge piece there if you wanted to, you know, like a 2" by however tall that is, fold it in the middle and use it as your little hinge. You could do that too. Okay, you don't have to buy absolutely everything to get this done. I'm going to match this up in this case like so. All right, so what I'm doing here is going from the center out. This is how I'm lining it up so that it's nice and straight. Okay, and I'm going to take a look over here and see how it's wider. Okay, ideally what you want to do is have the bulk of the book in order for this to meet
like that, you know. But in this case, it's going to overlap a little bit. All right. So you have options here. What you can do if you wanted to, okay, is you can score it here as well. That's a different option. The only thing is that you're going to have a different shape. All right. So that's up to you. Do you want to have a book that has this shape on the outside? Or do you want the entire thing, or I'm sorry, just the curve? You know, you do have different options there. I'm just going to, again, I'm just showing you guys how to close the book. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this here. All right. And it is wider, so it's going to overlap like I said before. But I'm not going to bug out about it. Now on here, again, there's this little place here where you can make the little holes. Oh, that's awesome, Leslie. That makes me happy. I'm very humbled by that, that anyone could have the patience to do that. If you want to, you can place your layering pieces first. This will also give you a nice guide as to where to make like the little holes if you're going to go in that direction. Okay? Because this clears out that portion. And then you can do it again on this side. Now again, this is overlapping because of the way that I put it on here. It has more to do with the fact that I used a smaller base, okay? But ideally, you'd be using a bigger piece, okay? That's my recommendation. I mean, I can't say enough about that one. I'm going to grab the other piece here and cut this out quickly because I haven't done it yet. Because these are the options that you have that came with the die set to close it. So let me go ahead and do that. Because I'm thinking that the question was, possibly, this is what I'm thinking, is that maybe she thought this would cut into that, but that's not the case. This is just an entirely separate piece. What I did with mine in this one was that I used the crocodile, as you can see, and I made this little tag. I just made the holes to match that with the crocodile as well. So again, just a different option. And if I sound redundant, I do apologize. I just know that that person's not in the chat, and I want to make sure I cover everything. Not too much faffing. I know, I live in the faffing world. I was just mentioning that to my husband the other day. I was like, I learned a new word, and I love it. It turns out there's a word for my way of thinking. It's called faffing. Overthinking everything, overcomplicating everything. It's a lifestyle, and I've managed to, you know, embrace it. So I'm just going to grab this. Now, of course, you can use your little pokey tool. You can just use that. Depends on how much OCD you have. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead with this here. And again, this is just to, you know, illustrate a point. Got my little holes there, right? And then this one is going to match. So I'm going to grab a little piece of twine. Let's make it this one. Okay. And I'm just going to cut off a piece of this, like so. But you know, there's people in this world who find a way to make things so easy and relatable and understandable and all that. I'm not one of those people. I try to be. All right, but I just fed it through my little ticket label there that cut out, and now it's going to go in from the front. Okay, like that. That same one that I just fed through there is going to go in from the back now on the other page. And of course, you want to be nice and neat. I sometimes put a piece of washi tape on that end. It helps. Okay, so you went in. Now it's coming back out. and grab that little tag, feed it through. The pokey tool will help with that as well, of course. Just shove it in there. All right. So went in, now out, and now you can tie your page. It overlapped, and if you were concerned with that, I'm here to tell you, you need not be concerned, because once you tie this, it's still gonna look super duper cute. Okay? And it still looks absolutely adorable no matter what, right? Even though this does have an overlap, I think it still looks cute. Again, when you're making your book, you're going to be using, let me show you, I'm trying to find to see if I have another one of these about in this room. I don't know if I have another, I don't think I do. Sometimes I lose track of these, but in any case, if you're going to make the pages, you can, now mine, I want to reiterate that what I did was I used a larger one for the background, and then I placed the pages the same way that I did it here. I placed the other pages on the background, and of course the blue piece of paper covered that. The longest page was this one here, the same that I cut here. Instead of cutting it down as short as I did, which in this case it was maybe 1/4 of an inch, what I did was that I allowed it to be about maybe 3 inches long from that one end. And then, I don't know if you guys have any other questions, but hopefully it's self-explanatory. But if it's confusing, please let me know. Oh, hi, Ida. Yeah, this die set is gorgeous. I wish I could show you guys the other books like I've mentioned before, but they've been, you know, it's come in handy for books that I've had to make very quickly. And the other thing that's really neat about it is this piece here that you see is another piece that you can add to it. This piece here. If I was asked how I did the roses, I cut out this elaborate piece here. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay. So it comes like this, right? I cut out this one piece here. If you look at this. So you cut it out of that background paper. And then I cut it out again. And what I did was the piece of paper that I cut it out of was not regular paper. It was mixed media paper. And because it was thicker, the thicker the paper, and, you know, of course, depending on how the paper is made, the more water you can add to it. So to that mixed media paper, I added water and I painted it. And I added all sorts of different blues and purples and all that. And once I cut it out with this, I had my variegated pieces that I could add. And if you were to see this in person, you would see the depth of it. Oh, Leslie, yeah, get them out and play. This has a lot of depth to it. It almost feels like those stickers you would get back in the day that were kind of felted. Some of you may know what I'm referring to, because it's layer upon layer. Okay, so I did my very first layer in white, and then on top of that, I added every single one of these little pieces that had been painted with a thicker paper. So it's really nice and dimensional. The background there was all one color, but I took a gray marker and I colored in the edges of that flower so that it would look like it's further back than the pieces that are laid on top. So that's where color comes in. If you want something to disappear, you want it to be darker than those things that you want to pop. And so adding a gray or a black is going to help you do that. The mixed media paper, yeah, I can do that. So long as you guys aren't in a rush, I'll be happy to. So let me grab one and I will gladly do that. And then we can add it to this. I'll make a card with it, okay? I'm just gonna move this out of the way so I don't ruin it. And let me grab a sip of water so I don't dry up. Okay. Let's go ahead and play with some color. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Oh my gosh, you make me feel like my head's gonna blow up. I'm just joking about that, but I do appreciate it. It makes me very happy to hear something like that because I'm very hard on myself. I'm my worst critic, so let me grab some mixed media paper, which I should have nearby. Let's see here. I tend to have scraps of, you know what, this might be big enough. Praise God. Okay. This is watercolor paper, so the better the watercolor paper, the more fun you're going to have, because then you don't have to worry about it falling apart on you. Okay. So, let's see here. These are the pieces that you would end up cutting out. I think I need a bigger piece here. Let me see. Now, I apologize, guys. I wasn't prepared to look for these, but let me, I have them here. Okay, I have a notebook of mixed media paper. So I'm just going to grab, this is actually thinner than that watercolor paper, but I'm going to grab this one because it's larger. And I grab these when they're on sale at Michael's or wherever, and they come like that. So this is a really great way to get this kind of paper. And that one, as you saw on the cover, did say mixed media. And what I'm going to do is, I always keep a bottle of water nearby. That's just a spritzer bottle. Bear with me, ladies. I have my messy mat here, as I call it. Right? Okay. So to begin, you can either wet the paint or you can wet the paper. Either way is fine. Doesn't matter. I can grab, since I was mentioning the Catherine Pooler inks, I can grab those. Do you have a color preference? Because I'm open to anything. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever. You can use pearlescent watercolors. You can use, gosh, the options are so many. You can use oxides if you're into oxides. Okay, so any color. Let me go with a range of, let's do, let me get some Catherine Pooler inks, because those are fun. Let's do some blues. Okay, let's just do those. If we need to add more, we can add more, right? Because these are nice and juicy, so you can just pounce them on your surface like that. Just make sure that if you're going to do this way of coloring, that there's no glitter on that, because if you get it onto your ink pad, you're going to regret it. So we all know about glitter. Okay, so I've got 3 colors there, and I can wet the color, you know, introducing water here. And of course, if you do it like this, you can also control how much water you end up having on any given color too. Okay. But I like to immediately just start picking it up. Okay, you see that? No, I had some other stuff on my mat. It was dirty, so guess what? I'm grabbing that color too. I generally don't care. I just like to have fun with whatever happens, happens. So if there's some brown there, that's okay. That's found in nature anyway. I don't cry over that sort of thing. Bronze, whatever. Little colors that sneak in here and there. Sometimes they're the best part of crafting. Those little things that you may think are a mistake. Okay. So, here we are. This is just, you know, the beginning there, right? Absolutely. So if you want to know about distressing inks, I've got some of those too. So let me grab, let's see here. Distress ink in... I have mostly oxides because I prefer them. So let's grab Salty Ocean. Okay. I'm not going to mix my inks on the surface, so I'm just going to wipe away what's here. You know, you make use of it however you like, but I'm going to try to grab as much of it as I can and then clean this off. Now, I was also asked by, I think his name is the Gentleman Crafter. He was asking about the thickness of papers that I recommend to use on mini albums. And my answer to that would be that for the cover and the background papers, you want to use the thickest paper you have. So long as you're not creating a hinge that won't fold. So I always, you know, recommend grab a piece of paper, whatever you have, take a little piece and cut it, and then see how it bends after you score it. If it cracks immediately, don't use it on a book, because even the amount of money that you spend on the paper is irrelevant. It's either going to be a great weave or it's not. So if it cracks on you right away, then you don't want to use it on the part of your book that's going to move. But that's not to say you can't use it as a background piece, for instance. So here I created a pool there, and that is oxide ink, so you already know that's water reactive. I'm going to get, you know, some really cool, vibrant color out of that. Okay. So I'm going to stop there, however, okay? I'm going to use this other one because this is, you know, there's a level of saturation for every paper, I think, before it starts getting, you know, kind of muddy. So you do want to give it time to dry in between. If you see that your paper is kind of losing that pigmentation, don't push it. Don't keep adding water or color. Just let it dry and then add another layer, okay? That way you get nice, vibrant results. So now it's time to dry. So let me get my little blower out. And that again was Salty Ocean. So bear with me with the sound. Thank you so much. So here, of course, you can move around the color if you want to. That's up to you. Or if you want it to stay put, you can dab it off like I was doing with the paper towel. That's another option. It can help you dry things quicker also. Okay. Now, this has a tiny bit of shine in it, and it is because of the mat here. I've used it to heat emboss and that sort of thing. But this is dry enough. There's a little spot here that's a tiny bit wet. Let me dry that bit here. Okay, so that's good enough for me. Then, oh my gosh, Leslie, I wish she would come back tomorrow. Yeah, that was so much fun. I was just talking to her today about her plants and everything, and she was so happy fiddling with her plants that she collects and sells. But I don't know. I don't know when's the next time she'll be in town, honestly. That was once, gosh, my mother's been in this particular state that I'm living in twice in 16 years, I think it was. So yeah, it's that was a special treat. It's more probable that I would go to Puerto Rico than, you know, to have her come back here. I'm gonna cut this in half, but I'm just looking at this, it's not gonna fit here. So let me cut that in half. All right, so this is more manageable, of course. Now here, I have the option of then focusing on one area, okay? And let's see here. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I could grab the dies that I need to use. So now I'm going to feed this through my machine with the dies. And I think for this one, I want a little bit of that green. I want some of that blue. So that's how I'll feed it through. And I'm going to do this here. Okay. In Puerto Rico, sadly, because of the area in which she lives, she's in the country and the internet connection is not, it's not the best. She's done some live streams, but it's super choppy. So depending on where, if she's still living in the same home, then I can't promise that, but if she ends up moving between now and the time that I go back, and ends up in an area where there is a better connection, then I'd be more than happy to go ahead and do videos, whether it be showing how we paint together or just showing you guys a little bit of Puerto Rico. I noticed that those of you who aren't from the island do enjoy seeing a little bit of what it's like. Let me quickly, before I forget, I'm going to grab some washi tape and grab a hold of this paper. I don't want to get ahead of myself because that's what I'm going to use as my little kind of cheater method here. And I'm trying to be very gentle, of course, so because I don't want to ruin the paper. So if you need to do this bit here, you can do that. All right. So that way, when you pick this up, the pieces that you know you want to use can remain there. And of course, some of them fell out. So I just want to be really careful with that. I'm just going to grab them and set them aside so that I don't lose them. The ones that I know I don't need, I'm just going to discard. Okay. And let's get that other piece. And we can do the same thing again. All right. So it's a little bit of faffing. I love that word. But to me, it's worth it for the results that you get. And mind you, this is one layer of paint, okay? Only one layer. You can go crazy with it, adding layer upon layer. And it all depends on how much time you want to devote to it. This can be very therapeutic when you're you know, you're not following any rules per se. You're just letting the color do the talking. It can be a ton of fun. I'm just gonna get this ready for myself with some, I love washi tape because it's got multiple uses, guys. Just gonna get some of that ready on the side, but let me cut this. Okay. Yeah. But I'll never lie to you and tell you it's, oh, it's super simple and quick. That I won't tell you because that would be a complete lie. This I'm just going to leave here for now because I know I'm not going to use it immediately. I'm going to start with the 1, right? Let me get my, my card. I can take this away because I don't need it for the moment. And, oh, there's the other one. Oh, gee, I wonder if I cut it the wrong way. I probably did. Oh, well. I'll have to cut another one. That's the other thing, is that you want to make sure that you have your, I would call it yin-yang, and I probably cut them both in the same direction. Oh, well. Okay, so now, what I would like to do is stick this all at once, but that's not going to work out here. What I can do is to remove this and try to push this in a little bit here and there where the petals are so that it sticks to my my washi tape, right? I know it's back there. Okay. And of course this this paper, it's gonna want to fall out, guys. That's just the nature of it. But however many you can leave there is best. Okay. Here's another piece that I know is going to want to travel. All right. Okay. So you see what I mean? I try to leave as many there on the die as possible. And the rest I can remove. Now, had I planned this without cutting this first, I could have done the background first, but oh well, I'm just going to do blue and white today. Okay, but this is going to be my piece here. You see what I mean? And I'm going to lay that down first. And you don't need a whole lot of glue if you're using the Nuvo. You just do a tiny little bit of it. Okay. And depending on the image, you can just cut it out multiple times if you want to with different colors. You don't have to do it all, you know, monochromatic as I just did. That's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down, give it a second to adhere. I know I don't need the bitty ones, but I do want the other ones that are laying about. And now what I end up doing is grabbing one of these guys, the sticky pickup sticks, or what is this called? This is called a Quicker Poker Picker Upper from Quick Stick. Or you can use a nail gem thing. I don't know what they're called, honestly. I can try to make up words, but don't know what they are. So now it's a matter of finding out who went where, right? Because I'm going to apply the adhesive to the background. Just quick little drops, and then drop in my little piece that went there. And what you can end up doing is, depending on the colors, you can add to them, whether it be, because this is watercolor paper, you can either do a quick little like stippling, you can use pencils. It's really, I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to that. Okay. But this is it. Just putting them back in there. Now, with the other book, as I mentioned before, what I did was that I went through every single one of those little lines and I colored it gray. But I'm not going to keep you guys here for days, so definitely not doing that today. I think this one goes here, yeah. So you use whatever you're comfortable with. But this is it. It's like playing with a puzzle. That is it. Oh, hello. Hi, Sam. I am faffing today. What else is new? Today's a faffing Saturday. Okay, that didn't go there, I don't think. Nope. I'm grabbing my little bits and pieces here. I'm trying to think upside down too. So, in fact, I think I'm going to do the ones that are much easier, the bigger ones, and then move on to those smaller ones. If the glue dries in the meantime, I don't worry about that whatsoever. Okay. That one's going to go there. And let's just say, like I mentioned before, if you cut this out of several different colors, you can get a completely different look. Another option is to flip this over. The only thing is that I did not get a good enough stick on that washi, so I'm not going to be able to use that technique. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm going to grab my little tweezers here because I think it's going to make it easier. And this one goes right here, like so. It's like looking at a map of the world and trying to figure out which country they are. Only I haven't traveled enough, so I don't know. Is this North America? South America? All right, let's see here. This one goes here. Okay, and right now it might be looking very flat, but I'm going to be fixing that, okay? This little doohickey goes here, yep. Like that. I'm almost there. I'm still grabbing the pieces that I can from my my die. Okay. That one goes there. Oh, the faffing. Okay, so Leslie said that this was when I was doing, I don't remember what craft I was doing. She called it faffing, you know, when you have to all these little bits and pieces to glue or cut or whatever. And she said, "Oh no, that's too much faffing." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." You know, I love learning new colloquialisms or, you know, just different languages in general. And I had never heard that word. So, of course, I was super excited. I was like, oh, there's a new word I didn't know. But I love it. So I was just saying, I live in the faffing world. That's my residence of choice. Because I love all things tedious and lengthy when it comes to crafting. All the little detail work that most people are like, oh, I dread that. That's where I have the most fun. It's, to me, it's very meditative and relaxing. And I love the results, quite honestly. Okay, there's that. Home stretch here. I have very few pieces left. And I probably will only do this side, guys, because if not, I don't know how many people will want to stay to watch the rest. But again, I mean, that's up to you guys, really. Quite honestly. Okay. And again, I'm grabbing them from this bit here. And because I had the washi tape, it does make it a little bit easier to go back and find the pieces that I need. But you generally want them to stay on there if you can. You don't want them all over your table because then that's really going to wreck your brain. Unless you're into that challenge. I think this one went in here. Whoopsie. Yep. And again, just a tiny little dot of glue will do it. Okay. So I believe I have 3 pieces left, and then I'm done with this. One I found here. I'm trying to look at the direction of this rose. If I don't find it, I'm not going to cry about it. What I was going to say is the other option is to lay this right on top. And after you put your glue on here, you can use your pokey tool and then just push in the pieces. That's another great way to do it. My issue was that they all fell out, so that wasn't working. But that's a super fast way to do it. If you can manage to keep all the pieces in there, that is much easier. All right, so apparently I'm missing 2 little pieces there. I'm just going to leave it be. If I find them later, I'll add them. Okay. They're probably on my table here. Yes, I do have pieces off the mat. They're over here. I have some over here. It's just, honestly, my brain can't even compute what they are. I just see all the same. So, you know, got a little here and a little there. Maybe they're in there. They, some of these look like little clouds to me, but, oh, I think I found, did I find one? Nope, that's not it. I probably just made it, yeah, I made it more complicated than it needed to be. But I think this is enough. What the next thing that I can do here is to use those same colors that I showed earlier, the ones that created the base, of course, right? And now we can get into more of the detail by taking the more intense color. I'm just going to add a little bit here to my mat. And of course, this has water in it. The size of the brush that you use is really, you know, up to you. But I just am loading my brush here with a little bit of color. I think you can, yeah, you guys can see this. Okay. And then I know that this rose, the base of the rose is up here. If you look at this book, okay, I'm coloring this rose. Yeah, this one, right? So the base of the rose, or the inside, or whatever, starts in here. Okay. So let me hold it like that so you guys can see. So I can start adding a little bit more color in there to intensify that. Okay. And treat these as individual petals. Now, this is up to you. It's not to say that that's how you have to do it, but it's one way to go ahead and add depth to this. Okay. Wherever you imagine a fold or anything like that, you can do it with alcohol markers if you prefer not to do this. You can do the same thing as if you were coloring an image, a stamped image. Just adding the shadow on one end and then blending it out. I like to dry that brush if I'm just pulling the water. And the cool thing about this is that if you accidentally went in a little too dark for your own comfort, just go back in with just the wet brush and you can blend it out. Okay, or make it more intense. Just add more color to one little edge of it. And all of a sudden, you're going to see that rose kind of popping out of that. Okay. Like this. Now, to me, this is very therapeutic. It's fun. It helps me discover also, you know, how I like to use paint. And watercolor techniques are very forgiving because, let's face it, if all you did was pick up this brush and splatter it on there, it would look fine. You don't even have to go through all the trouble. But there is an option for you to add depth, okay? I know from far away maybe it's not very noticeable, but that does add some depth to that flower. I think I need to be over here, like that, okay? Hi, Ida. I thought you were here earlier. Were you? Or am I imagining? No, yeah, you were. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Another thing you can do is, as I had mentioned before, I did the outline really dark. So I can add the bits here that I know are like the stem and that sort of thing. I can then go in and add a lot darker color, and it's going to help that stand out a bit as well. Okay. So again, I'm just, what do you call that? I'm loading my brush and just going through that outline that the die already placed there for me. So I don't have to do too much thinking. It's just a matter of following the lines. Okay. So if you can paint by number, you can do this. Just follow the line with a darker color than the other pieces, and you're already going to have some more depth. And of course, I enjoy this blue combination, but if this isn't your jam, if you're not a blue person, you prefer pinks, then just pick, my recommendation is you pick 3 colors of, you know, gradient of color of a color you enjoy, and it's going to make it a lot more interesting for you. So I'm going to load my brush again, and I'm just going through. Now, mind you, watercolor always dries lighter than it looks initially. That's another thing to bear in mind when you're doing this sort of thing. So don't be too afraid to add what initially looks like a punch of color. Because again, this paper is going to soak it all in. So I can go around this outline here too. Okay, so I think that's pretty cool. I'm trying not to have a very defined line there on the edge, so you can purposely kind of muddle that up. Okay. All right, so there's one rose. Thank you so much. There's one rose. Now, of course, I started off with a piece of paper that was neither here nor there, but if you prefer a more precise look, then you can do exactly what I just did, but with a more controlled way of adding the color to the paper by just cutting it all out in white. So that's really up to you. I love this whole look of, you know, gradation of color. I like that. So on this side, what I can do, since I think I cut it out, let me see, where's the other one? I left it on the mat. Here it is. I think I cut out 2, let me see, I'm not quite sure now. 2 on the, did I cut 2 in the same direction? I'm about to find out. I'm gonna put my washi tape on first though, because I want to kind of help myself here. And I've done this also with other papers where I've done just metallic on the center, and it looks so cool. I'm trying to find here. where I've done that before. The inlay. Trying to think here. I forget which books have what inside of them, but this technique is a lot of fun nonetheless. I'm gonna grab one more piece here. And I'm sorry, I'm off to the side here, but all I'm doing, discount code, sweetheart, I wish I had one, but what I can tell you is that Tonic Studios has sales going on perpetually. So if, for instance, you're seeing this on the website now and maybe you want to hold off, they do have sales, generally speaking, that begin on like Tuesday afternoon. And they call them the Wednesday deals, but they do start a day earlier. And you can sometimes find these same dies at like up to 50% off. Right now, the sales that are going on are the weekender sales, and that's more of like a supply sale, whether it be for the Nuvo products or papers, that sort of thing. So I'm so very sorry. The reason I did this video with this particular die set was just to answer a question, not necessarily because these dies are being promoted at the moment, because quite frankly, they've been out for a long time now. So I couldn't even tell you whether or not they're in stock. I'd be lying to you if I said I knew. So I'm just going to remove this here again. And yeah, it will fit. Okay, awesome sauce. I'm going to put that there. I'm getting little pieces flying all over the place, but for the most part, I have what I need here. So again, I'm going to try to keep what I recognize. Add my glue. And depending on how much of this color you want to keep, you know, you can determine, of course, how many of those little pieces you want to stay or allowed to fall out. Whoopsie, just dropped one there. And I'm sorry if I got quiet all of a sudden. It's just that I'm concentrating on the application of the glue here. But here we go. I'm gonna add this one here. And we already know there's an overlap, so I'm just gonna move that out of the way. Okay. So the other option, of course, if you don't want to do this whole inlay thing, is you could certainly use Nuvo drops and fill in the spaces. Or if you have stickles, use stickles. If you just want to do glossy accents, you can do glossy accents. It all depends on what layers you have there and all that good stuff. You can just get so many different results. This one goes there, yep. So Leslie says, I went made buying Altonic's album dies and not really use them to the max. Oh, well, is there a reason, Leslie, why you haven't used them? Is it more because you like to see samples, or is it just because you've been using other product more? I always wonder. Because, for instance, I buy certain dies with a particular project in mind. So until I'm ready to make that project, I might not open the die set at all. Or I might open it and make a card, but then not, you know, not get it back out unless I'm like, okay, today I'm ready to make, you know, project A. You go there, you go here. Okay. Guessing the lighter blue pieces are going to all go in this direction. Now, as I mentioned before, the other book that I showed you guys had a lot more dimension in these pieces, and that's because I did have a background piece first, okay? So you would be cutting, for instance, this piece out of one color, and then these pieces out of another color. And depending on how many layers, of course, you can get that, you know, oomph. So that's what I did in that book. See? I think this one goes. Where do you go? Does it go here? Yeah, it does. There we go. Okay. I'm going to try to get these little bitty pieces out of the way so that I then can move on to the bigger ones. But I know I don't need any of these. It's like playing Operation. Maybe if I had a timer and a buzzer, I'd go faster, but I'd probably just get a panic attack instead. The albums with chipboard. Oh, okay. Yep. Those, you know what? I find those to be so much easier than the shaped ones. I can whip out one of those albums so much faster. Like the one that I did with the Buenos Dias collection. I felt like that went so quickly. But of course it's all what you're used to, right? Ah, darling, darling, darling. Get in there. I think I got ink on my hand. Yep, I did. I didn't even see that happen. I should have cleaned my surface. Silly me. And, okay, let's do this little piece that needs to go here. You can tell I go back and forth with my tools also. It's whatever is working at the moment. Okay, I think I got all the bitty ones, maybe with the exception of one or two. So now I'm going to, woohoo, yep, see how many are going to fall out initially. Continue my faffing. Let's see here. That one. This one. And I'm going to try to get the larger pieces in there now. Okay. I'll try to do this all at once by flipping this over. And who are you? This one goes here. Okay. I'm going to try to lay this on top, as I mentioned earlier. Trying to find the groove there of where it goes. Here we go. And then I'm just going to gently remove the tape. But I already placed my adhesive here on the background. Let me try to make sure I line it up. Here we go. I placed my adhesive on the background. Take these off. There we go. And then push in all those pieces that I know need to be adhered so that they fall right into place. And quite honestly, this is the best way to do it. I just don't always manage to get those pieces to stick to the washi tape. But if you can do it that way, it'll be much better. Okay. I think I'm missing one little piece there, and I found it right here. And that is that for this side. Don't think I'm going to add any more. I think it goes there. If not, I'm going to make it go there. Actually, I think that goes over here. Yep, it goes over here. I don't know what happened there, but come on, little guy. I know it goes in there. Here we go. Okay, so I'm missing one little piece there, but I'm okay with even filling that in with Nuvo drops. Okay. I'm going to set that aside and go back with more ink to make it match. Just going to grab a sip of water real quick. Oh, that's wonderful, Anna. I hope you use my link. That is awesome. Super duper awesome. I think you're going to love it. And the cool thing is it also fits little, like you can fit little chocolates inside. So if you make, I was thinking like to make a masculine version, it makes a wonderful Father's Day gift even. Okay, so some of these are going to fall out because they, you know, they didn't have glue to begin with. I'm going to go back with this darker blue here since that seems to be the theme of the day. And this time I'm going to try to go a little bit faster, okay? So again, beginning with the little folds of what I believe would be the darkest part of the flower. And it's going to be a little bit more noticeable on these pieces that are lighter. Okay. And if you want to add the second color, you can. Kind of blend it out a little bit more. And this brush, I could probably replace this sometime soon. But you can add as many layers as you like, so long as, like I said before, so long as you don't oversaturate the paper, you're good. You know, if I find like a little bit of a puddle, I just wipe it off like that and, you know, keep working. It's kind of one of the benefits of watercolor. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Ida, you mentioned the wax pick. That's exactly right. And I'm so sorry I don't remember when I'm crafting, I have a hard time remembering the names of things. It's like that's in another part of my brain that just gets put on hold. And I have to say that is one of the difficulties for me in doing live videos is that as much as I talk, it's difficult to focus on what I'm doing with my hands when I'm talking. Because normally I would have some worship music in the background, listening to someone else do the singing and that sort of thing. as I color away. And it just becomes such a, I don't know, a beautiful place to be in my heart and in my soul and in my mind. It's just, I absolutely love it. So, okay. So here I'm going with this deeper color in those little grooves, as I mentioned before, where the paper already has directed me as to where I can color. And this is more of a wash because of the amount of water, of course, that I've added to this. But if you are, if you like things that are a bit more graphic, then by all means you can add a very, very strong color to this. In fact, I can keep coloring here. Let me see how this will look with, speaking of washes. I know that this background paper is not watercolor paper, but if I'm really gentle with the amount of water that I add, then I can do a wash. And I'm going to go with the greener color. It's called Aquatini, just to give it almost like a greenish background there. Now what I'm going to do is try to water this down as much as possible by loading the brush, but just with a tiny bit of the pigment, not too much. Yeah. Oh, no worries. Oh, how wonderful. Yeah. I say my hard drive, yeah, it's full. It is full. I was just having that conversation today with my mom where she said her husband, when he was alive, would tell her, like, you put too many demands on your brain. You're trying to remember way too much. Because she was overly critical for not being able to remember 5,000 different things. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm with him on that opinion. Like most people try to, just go through their day remembering what it is that they're going to cook for dinner. And she's over here like, doing all sorts of things. Okay, so you see I'm just doing a quick little color wash here. Of course, I could have eliminated this by just layering a piece of paper back there, but I kind of like this effect also. And because it's matching the colors I already laid there, then I don't have to be too particular as to how it lands on the paper even, No need for perfection here. Very, very forgiving. Okay. And if that paper buckles up a tiny bit as it's doing right now, it's okay, because once it dries, or while it's drying, you can place something heavy on top also, and it'll lay flat. Well, the only thing that I would say is be very careful as to how much water you are allowing to soak through that. You don't want to ruin what you just worked on. Okay, moving on to the next page. I am going to flip it this way just for reference for my own here. I'm loading my brush, but again, a very little color there. And I'm just going to do a very, very light wash here. Not saturating that paper too much either. In fact, if you have chalks, you could do this with chalk, and that would be a really cute look also. I'm gonna go in there, try to, and it also helps you kind of cover up the little pieces that you may have missed. If you lost the papers, just go ahead and color it in. It's okay. I'm going a little bit darker up here. And I could tell there was one missing paper there on that rose also, but that's okay. All right. Tiny bit here. Okay, so I've got this. It's looking a little bit too flat here. So another thing I can do is use the metallic colors Okay. And let's see here. I can use this, let's do the white. And I'm just going to dab some of this off on the paper towel here, but I can use this just on some of these petals just to give it a little bit of shine here. And it is opalescent, but it'll just give another little look to this. I keep hearing a sound and I don't know what it is. No idea what goes on in this neighborhood. Okay. Just gonna add a little bit here. And this, of course, is going to change the look a tiny bit, but nothing horrible, I don't think. It's just going to give it a little shine. See that one, depending on how you load that brush, you can get a ton of that color. Okay. I really like this layered look. Like so. Tack somewhat. Senior, you get a pudding for remember. Oh, that's so mean. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. No, I'm constantly, you know, I say that to both my son and my husband. I'm like, well, that one day when I crawled out from underneath that rock, I discovered, and then fill in the blank with whatever, you know. That's when my sarcasm comes out full swing. Oh, no worries. Yeah, you also, Anna, thank you for having stopped by. I'm noticing I have confetti on my table now, so I'm going to clear this off, and then I'm just going to add some more layers to this. But this may be the gist of the coloring, at least. I'll just go ahead and cut the other layers and make a card out of this. So from here on out, I think the work will be dry. But I don't know about you guys, but to me it was very relaxing to color that in. And I enjoy watching other people color as well. To me, it's just a soothing experience. Okay, so let me grab the dies. Let's see here. I have to now find the ones that are going to layer on here. Bear with me a moment. Because what I'll try to do is make the most of, remember how I had colored these, the thicker one also? And then this is the piece that I can add to the inside here once it's all said and done. To write the sentiment. But I'm digging that so far. I'm going to try to, let's see here, grab the die set. Just to show you guys where my mind is going. Got all these layers now. Okay, so we have our little closure. These are the pieces that we already used. And then there's this other little piece here that's super cute. Either the little diamond ones or the little swirls. I think because this is almost like a nautical colors theme, I'll use the one here with the little swirls just for the edges. But that's super cute. Got that all out of the way. And then we need, before I lose it, we need the same piece here for the inside to cover this up. Okay. So let's use that. Because I don't like the unsightly little seams there. And of course, once this is dry and everything, I'll just go ahead and cut this again to layer the inside, okay guys? But I'll just do that off camera. But let me see here what I can do with this piece. I don't know. Nope, that's not going to be big enough. I'm just going to grab a different piece of paper because I'm realizing those aren't big enough. But I have this paper stack that's super pretty. And here we go. Here's a piece of paper that matches perfectly. And cut this down so that it fits the die. That's going to be 5 1/4. I'll be able to cut that out. Oh, yeah, you know what? I saved too many, to answer your comment, Leslie, I saved too many pieces. I've learned the hard way that I have to force myself to throw things out. So as much as that makes complete sense, I can't, because then, you know, if a week goes by and I didn't use it, then it's just creating mental clutter and physical clutter. So I just end up throwing it all out. But believe you me, I've got, you know, I could end up with so many stacks of, oh, this and that. I'll use it, I'll use it. And then I don't. I move on to something different. Okay, let's use this. I do keep thinking that I want to use this Crackle Paste though, because it's here. So I'm going to use it on the edges here. Let me see if I have a solid. I don't. That's too bad. I was hoping to have a piece I could put here that was solid, but I don't. I only have this. And the other one that's also, it cuts out. Hold on a second. You know what? I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to try to see how I can use this Crackle Paste on that. So what I'm going to do, since this fits here, let me see here. I'm thinking. I'm going to cut this again out of this thicker paper. Yes. Let's cut it again. And this, by the way, is 110-pound cardstock, if you were wondering. Yes, I have a love-hate relationship with scrap paper. Oh, it's so awful. I mean, okay, why isn't this working? Come on, work with me. I think my sandwich is off here. What did I do? I hate wasting, but believe you me, I can have papers for 15 years just out of guilt. I'm like, enough of that. This isn't a religion, this is paper. You need to just let go. And I don't mean any offense by that, guys, just to let you know. Oh my gosh. There we go. The paper was thick, so I was having a little bit of trouble getting through there. Okay. So let's get messy again. I said from here on out it was going to be dry. I lied. I'm going to use this here, which in reality I'm only going to use these little pieces back here, but whatever. I want to use this Crackle Paste because it's the perfect color. And I'm just going to get a spatula. This is one of my Cricut spatulas. I'm just going to grab some of this. And I'm just going to smear it on here on both sides. This side and on this side. And of course you could use a stencil. That's up to you. I just wanted to grab it and kind of be, you know, lay it on there a little thicker. Because it's kind of like spackle. And clean off the rest. Yes, they are fun, fun, fun. I was recently playing around. Yeah, the little typewriter, that's what I used it on. And I was so happy with how vibrant it stayed on there. I was so tempted to do the whole thing in different pastes. That would have been kind of cool. But of course I had cut the paper, so I was like, I'll just use it as a little add-on on the edges there. So I'm gonna dry this off. Okay, so ideally you don't want to make this too hot because you don't want to burn the actual paste. So I like to rub it and see if any of it stays on my fingers. I think that's good enough. It's nice and dry. Hello, Sandra. Long time no see, darling. And now I only need that little bit because again, this is just going to go on the border there of my card. So where that starts curving in is where I'm going to cut this. That side, same here. Okay, can save that for something else. I'm gonna send it to Audrey. Just kidding. I'm joking. My little snip. Snip, snip, snip. Oh my gosh. And this has that tiny little bit there on the edges, so I'm just cutting that off. Okay. And let me get my card back. I want to stare at that. No, I've not been making videos either, so it's fine. I think I need to cut this one back a little bit so that I have, yeah, so that it's even on both sides. I cut one of them bigger than the other. Surprise, surprise. Let's see here. I almost cut my finger off with this thing the other day, and I was like, oh my lord. I literally had visions of my hand just like, ooh, scared myself. Like, use the finger guard, use the finger guard. I have to remind myself, these are precious little digits. Don't be crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to just glue these down. And to think that I started off just showing how to close this. And here I am. Okay, but I love, love, love the results of that Crackle Paste. I mean, oh, I could wear that. Love this color. Just trying to leave the same distance between these pieces. And now I'm wishing I had made a mini album instead of a card. Oh well. I'm gonna put this on the inside now. This is gonna give me that dusty blue as a landing place there. But of course, as you can tell, I mean, you have so many options. And again, the reason for this layer was just to cover up those hinges. You want it to look, you know, as Leslie was mentioning, the look of that professional look. Try to hide, if you can, to the, you know, to your best ability, try to hide the little pieces that show seams and that sort of thing, and you'll get a much cleaner look. The other thing is the rubber eraser. Say, if you're not going to cover that with any paper, then at least clean up the little smudges and fingerprints. This is the best tool, I think, in any crafter's stash. I will not craft without it. If I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do with myself, but this is gonna be a little tight on that fold because I moved it too far that way, but it'll still close. I've got that going on, and then I've got my little piece here, and let's see if I find a sentiment. Let's see here. I don't know. It says, endings are just new beginnings in disguise. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't know. Some of these stamps. I sometimes wonder why I've picked them up. Let me look at here. Like there had to be a reason why I bought that. I just can't remember what it is. Let's see here. I like this one. It says there are hundreds of languages, but a smile speaks them all. That's why I bought this one. That other one, I don't know. Let me go ahead and stamp this. And this is just a bow bunny, by the way. I guess I got it at Hobby Lobby on clearance, so. Or as I like to say, Clarence. Got a family joke there, but oh, these photopolymer stamps, by the way, the longer they sit on the sheet, the harder they are to take off. So if you run into that, it's not you, it's the stamp. They do have a shelf life. Okay, so as I've mentioned in the past, I'm gonna say it again. Take an eraser. Before you use, I've never used that stamp before, so before you use it, it's good practice to just go ahead and take off the film that comes on there with an eraser. Makes life easier. I am going to use my little embossing powder on here. And I am going to pick a color. Let's see here. I think this is, yep, that's violet. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use Aquatini as my color. Need a scrap piece of paper. Let's use something that will fold. Let's get this one out. And I'm just going to stamp this and pray to God it works the first time around. We'll see, we'll see. I'm going to try to center that. By the way, ladies, if you're into nails, bad people don't actually use it. So reason it's on your face, yeah. Oh, Leslie, yes. No worries. God bless you and thank you for being here. Have a good afternoon. It could be better, but whatever. We're going with that. Gonna heat emboss this. Okay. Get out my gun again. And this is old embossing powder, so it's been around. Even though there's a ton of it left. It's we'll see what this looks like. So I know you guys can see the little foot there of my tripod, but please let me know if this setup is something that you like, or if you prefer that I have a different angle on my videos. I like to get feedback. I'm open to it. So please let me know. Okay. I think that's good enough. Let's see here. So as you could tell, it picked up on the corners there, a little bit of that, because the stamp is not very deep or thick, you know. And then the rest of the stamping is, you know, that's how well I was able to do it. But I do love the sentiment. I think it's very cute. And before I make a mess, let me take care of this. The little chamois that I had talked about in another video. They're proving to be very useful. And by the way, Tonic Studios has one of these on sale at the moment. So if you need one, pick one up. They have it in a bundle, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the weekend bundles. You won't regret getting the tools that make your life easier in your craft room. Sometimes the supplies are not the frustrating thing. It is, it's the cleaning up after and all that good stuff. It can really deter you from crafting if you don't have the things that help you. So needless to say, there's an entire industry of, you know, things used to organize, to clean, all that good stuff. But once you find something that works, then you'll find yourself using it over and over again. So why not? I'm going to go ahead and put this here in the middle. And that's not a shameless plug for anything, by the way. That's just, you know, a little bit of advice, because I used to dislike stamping a whole lot, and I think it was more to do with that, you know, having these things all inked up and crazy. Even though as much as I enjoy painting, the whole stamping thing used to be a headache for me. Make sure it's up. Yep. So I'm down to 3 ladies. The rest of y'all left me, but this is the result of my card. I'm probably going to change this twine out for something different. I do appreciate you guys having been here, though. I'm, again, just here to answer a few questions. And, of course, if I wasn't detailed enough in terms of, like, the papers that I recommend or anything like that, please let me know, because I don't try to be vague for, you know, or intentionally vague. It's easier to answer things on a live video if I have the person present. And the 2 people who reached out to me with questions are not here today. So the best that I could do is at least show, you know, how to close up this card, which was one of the questions, and then mention the weight of the papers, which, as I mentioned before, to decorate the outside of this, I use multimedia paper, 110 pound paper for the base of this, which is the same that I would use for this if I were making a mini album. And then for any layering pieces, anything that you do that has to do with, you know, just adding color to something, for instance, this item here, then you can use 80 pound paper, 65 pound paper, that weight, you know, just to add, for instance, this here. just to add your layers. I start off with a base that's heavier and then start adding from there on to make the project look substantial. So I hope that does help. Wayfair, you know, Sandra, I never shopped at Wayfair, but I can tell you in this studio here, I do have, like, this table here is IKEA, and I have 4 others. Sorry, 3 others. So I have a total of 4 IKEA tables. Had I to do this room again, I don't think I would have gone with IKEA, just because the drawers are nothing to write home about. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sets of IKEA drawers. They're not, oh no, this typewriter, I'm sorry, this is a Tonic Studios die that I showed before. It's this one here. I do have it linked in the description box. I have the Tonic Studios link, so you can pick that up if you'd like. And I have a tutorial on how you can assemble it also. But yeah, Target, however, if you shop at Target, my closet, which I did a video showing my closet, they have shelving units that are excellent and very, very sturdy. And for the price that I paid at IKEA, I would have been better off using Target furniture and only getting the tabletops from IKEA, to be completely honest. It would have been, you know, I feel bad that my husband and I kind of, you know, we did it together. We budgeted for it and all that. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20. I didn't know that the quality of IKEA drawers was going to be so poor. And what I mean is the weight, once you start putting your materials in it, it does not hold paper at all. I can tell you that right off the bat. Yeah. But I have like the cubby system, you know how everybody shows their wall and they have the square cubbies. Mine are from Target, and I have 2, I think it's 3 of them. No, 2 of them stacked together, and my husband put them together, and of course he knows about construction and all that, so he put them together really nicely. And let me tell you, those are solid. So it would have been best to use those and then just put a tabletop on it, as so many other crafters have done. So anyway, I hope that I've answered a few questions today. This has been fun. Before I go, I think I have 8 people here now. If I could get 8 thumbs up, that would make my day. It would make me super duper happy. If you like the content of this channel, I invite you to come back. I know that, you know, some of my videos are a little bit kind of like all over the place and that sort of thing, but again, the content will depend on what I'm asked sometimes, and that's what today's video was about, showing you the answer to some questions, and then of course a little bit more. But I do appreciate your presence and also your feedback. I love, love, love that you guys come to this channel and do give me kind comments. It means a whole lot to me. And as I always say, I hope that you guys can be inspired and be blessed. Don't forget that I do have a website. It's www.PaintsandGlitter.com. Right now, I'm going to try to update it because with more content, of course, as I'm able to. But if you want to see a little bit more detail about certain projects, if you want to see perhaps just, you know, static images that you can stare at a little bit longer and things like that, that's where you can go. I also provide you with the links there. And of course, if you need to reach out to me, I'm available at paintsandglitter@gmail.com. Okay, guys? Oh, you see 15? See, my computer lies to me then. So let's see. Out of 15 people, I wonder how many of you are. Yes, Sandra, if you want to PM me on Instagram, and I'll do a live video. You know how you can video chat on Insta, and I'll show you. I'll be happy to show you what I have there. But of the 15 people who are here, my chat tells me I have 10. If I can get 10, let me refresh my chat here a second. Blah, 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 blah. 10 comments. 10 people. If 10 of you here can pick a number between 1 and 20, then you will be the recipient of this card right here, because I can send this in the mail this upcoming week, if the Lord tarries, as I say. So, oh gosh, you guys started. Okay, you started. Hold on a second, because I didn't even pick a number, so I'm gonna have to switch it up. Give me a second, guys, girls. Y'all are quick. Oh Lord, I didn't even pick a number yet. Actually, hold on, Sandra. You guys, you're still typing and I haven't even picked a number yet. All right, I'm not doing a number because you guys got ahead of me. Let's do a letter of the alphabet, okay? Oh, and I showed it already now. Hopefully, I have a delay on my video, guys, so that makes it difficult. I'm gonna have to pick it again. Oh, Lord have mercy, because I was on camera. Let's do a letter of the alphabet and go. There's only 2 of you guys. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Okay. All right. So I'm going to need, ladies, and I don't know who else is here, so I'm just going to say ladies. I am going to need the address of Tanya's Crafty Life, because she picked the letter that I wrote down, Tanya's Crafty Life. So Tanya, I welcome you to my channel, first of all, because I'm not familiar with your name. So if it's your first time here, thank you for stopping by. Email me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com and I will send this card your way. What I'll do is off camera, I'm going to finish the inside, okay? So that way, if you want to gift it to someone, you can. And the back, this is 110-pound cardstock, as I mentioned before. Make sure it's nice and clean for you and all that good stuff. So that if you want to keep it, you can. If you want to gift it, you can. Okay? Oh, wonderful! Oh, you're in the UK, Tanya. Oh, darn. I don't know if it's gonna be trying to think of how I can make it up to you so that it's better that you get something that doesn't the value of this card is not worth me sending it to the UK. So what I can do is trying to think here what I can do for you, Tanya, in the UK. I know this because I just shipped something to the UK and the pricing was insane. So how about I just send you a PayPal credit, okay, Tanya? So send me your PayPal information, okay? Or yeah, how about I send you my digital paper collection, okay? I could do that. That'll be equivalent to the value of this card. All right. So if that's okay with you, Tanya, let's do that. I'll send you my digital paper collection. Okay? Because I don't want you to, I don't want you to be disappointed. And I did open my mouth and say that I would mail it out. All right, honey? Let me know. Okay. So from my US ladies here, and I'm so sorry, Tanya, I just know that it's, it's crazy right now. What I'll do is I will send you all of them. I'll send you the individual ones that I've made as well as the Valentine collection that I've made, okay?
And then what I'll do is from the US ladies, it shows the chat that I have 8 people here. From my US ladies, let's pick a number between 1 and 45. Yes, I completely understand, Tanya. So my papers are digital, so you'll be able to print them out at home, okay? All right. And if you don't have a home printer, you can save it to a USB stick and take it to a local printing office supply store, and they can print them for you as well, okay? That way you get better quality also if you need to. All right. You're very welcome, darling. Just send me a quick email. Shoot me a quick email, paintsandglitter@gmail.com, and then I'll send you those digitals, okay? And I'm going to switch out this twine because this is looking ratchet. Let me grab something pretty. Okay. All right. So let's see who's going to pick the number. Let's see who got closest to the number that I picked. All right. The person who's got, oh, well, I have 2 of you guys. All right. I had picked the number 34. So it's looking like Sam was the one that got the closest number without going over. And I'm so sorry, Sandra. So, Sam, I think I have your address. I'm pretty sure I do. But if you want to refresh my memory, feel free to email me. And this will be going your way this week. But I do appreciate you guys having been here. And I know I kind of said goodbye very quickly, but y'all, you need to understand I'm a Latin lady. Our goodbyes take a long time. But yeah, thank you so much for having played along with me today. I appreciate every single one of you. And I hope to see you very soon in my next video. But like I said before, oh, you're very welcome, darling. Like I've said before, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And this will come to you with a much nicer, you can tell. I'm going to put a nice ribbon on that, okay? So, Tanya, I'll be looking forward to your email, darling. You guys have a wonderful evening. Ciao, ciao, and God bless.